It's time for the insane, the honest, and the profane with your host, Brandon Combs.
Jed Hoyer has been a coward as a GM. Doesn't go out and he doesn't make the big splash signings. He doesn't spend the money in the right places. But then I don't let Craig Counsell off the hook because, yes, did he get put in a bad spot with this rotation by Jed Hoyer? Absolutely. But then you didn't put those guys that you did have in a position to succeed in the playoffs.
And Ryan Fitzgibbons.
I mean, if he's just as good as Justin Fields, it's probably the worst draft pick in the history of Bears football. It probably is. And one of the worst draft picks in the history of the NFL.
It's Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk, right here on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com.
And welcome to Combs and Fitz, Windy City Sports Talk. It's your boy, Brandon Combs, along with my guy, Ryan. I'm not angry. I'm just disappointed. Fitzgibbons. Happy Father's Day, brother. How we doing?
It's a special Father's Day edition of Windy City Sports Talk with Combs and Fitz. Do you want to see the ultimate Father's Day PSA right now?
Oh, God. Let's do it.
The ultimate Father's Day PSA.
I don't
Here
know.
we go.
It's yours?
No,
Your mother said she found it in your closet.
I don't know. One of the guys must
Must have what?
Look, Dad, it's
Where
not.
did you get it?
Dad,
Answer me. Who taught you how to do this stuff?
You, all right? I learned it by watching you.
I learned it by watching you, Dad. That's how they got kids off drugs.
That's something. That's
Happy
for
Father's Day, boys.
That's
That's how they got kids off drugs in the 80s. That or Johnny Depp, who was a drug addict until he was like 50, cracking an egg on a frying pan and saying, this is your brain on drugs.
This is your brain on drugs.
Which I sure hope my brain is in a chicken embryo. But okay, Johnny Depp.
Yeah. It's look that I mean, those PSAs back in the 90s were something. Like you get, and it was funny too, because like all of like your TV shows, which I guess sometimes they still kind of do, but like all of your TV shows had like those hidden meanings behind them and stuff like that with the way that they ended the show or the way that the show processed. Like Family Matters was a big, huge one known for doing that with Urkel and all them. But it was things were different back in the 90s, kids. Things were different.
They were different, kind of cheesy, bad in some ways, but really terrific in so many others.
Oh yeah.
Sorry
when you look back on them now.
Sorry we contributed to ruining the world, kiddos. But it's gotten a little worse. I mean, I'm an optimistic guy, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm about to do a Fitz gibberish. That's not going to sound too optimistic, but happy Father's Day, Jeremiah. Sorry, we're late. Do we want to tell the story of why we're late?
I mean, we could tell the story of why we're late. The story of why we're late is because I overslept. Look, I've got one of those schedules that is kind of wild right now, and 7 days a week I'm working.
Living that life.
And I just, I woke up and I was like, oh crap, it's 8:45 and this jerk wants to do a damn show. So let me hurry up and take my morning shit and run and grab something to drink and hurry up and get on the show. And then I forgot that my computer wasn't set up because it's in my bag because I'm working the dogs all weekend and I need my computer with me. So yeah.
Chicago dogs, that is. And I still have not been there. I got to get there this year with the boy.
Oh, I mean, it's Father's Day. Come on up.
It's a much better park than the Thunderbolts Park, and I've been to the Thunderbolts Park a couple of times, and it's a much better place to see a game. So I got to get up there.
Out of the Thunderbolts, the Cougars, and the Boomers, all of the independent league teams that are around the area, it's probably the most professional ballpark out of all of them.
Yeah.
It's
beautiful. From what I've seen.
And plus, if you come up there today on Father's Day, you'll get to hear my lovely voice throughout the stadium as I work the PA.
Hard pass.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, I tried to explain this. Is your brain on drugs commercial to my 14-year-old? She looked at me stranger than normal. It's a hard commercial to explain because it's so dumb. Still under construction. John checks in for the first 30 seconds of the show.
Speaking of hard to explain, your studio's still under construction.
Yeah, it's still under construction. Where I'm moving it to the bigger room. And I also want you to come again and give me a little pointers. And I'm going to tell you my idea of what I want to do. And then you're going to tell me this will never work. And so will everybody else, because I'm a dreamer.
All right. Yeah, we can do that. We can do that. I can, I'll come up the next time that I have some free time. So I'll see you in 2044.
Okay.
And then by then we should be able to get your room all set up.
We'll be setting it up in the old folks' home. And you won't be setting up. You'll be just changing my colostomy bag pretty much.
We'll be in the old folks' home, and we'll be trying to set up our podcast in the dining room during lunchtime. We'll just have old people walking in front of our camera.
I used to have a kid walking in front of my camera. Now it's old people.
Yeah.
Jeremiah should have taken the shit during the show. You and Johnny could have timed it up like women's periods. Comment of the show again.
Jeremiah. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if that's going to be surpassed. This is way too early for Doubting Thomas, one of our commenters, to come on.
I was going to say we're going to do a brunch show, but that's our normal show, is a brunch show. This is just a breakfast show. This is a roll out of bed and scroll through your phone and be like, oh, these two idiots are on. Let's listen, see what they're talking about today.
And maybe we should get started.
Speaking of what we're talking about today, you ready?
I'm ready. It is Fitz gibberish. It's a diatribe. It's conspiracy theory, and it's an island in the middle of unapologetic and sometimes inaccurate sports talk. We haven't been that inaccurate yet, but give us some time. Please give us some time. Yes.
Speaking of time, Johnny just commented and said, "Don't fuck my bingo time."
Oh boy. A long time ago, commuters slowed almost to a stop as their horn beeped into the unseasonable warm air. It was around midnight in late October on the south side of Chicago, and it wasn't out of the realm of possibility for there to be snow, but it was warm on this night. Only no one was really a commuter. If they were, they would have to deal with the spontaneous block party that had broken out on the 2800 block of 111th Street. Give or take a couple of blocks, since my motor functions at this time were impaired well above the legal limits. As I was running on well over 10 drinks, a little bit of pot, and a healthy dumping of adrenaline. A man's man in the flower of his youth. Or if you want to be completely accurate, the deflower of his youth. Of course, it was October 26, 2005, the night the White Sox won the World Series. The same way they won the first game of the year and the first game after the All-Star break that year with a score of 1-0. On that night, I was asking myself the same question that most drunks ask. How did we get here? That year for the Sox, you could say it was the home run ball. They hit 200. Their defense, which was the best in the league, or their bullpen, which was well above average. If you name those, you wouldn't be completely wrong, but you'd be far from right. Starting pitching won the day for that team. It ranked third in all of baseball that year, but it's hard to imagine anyone was better. Of course, in the ALCS, Jose Contreras, Mark Burley, John Garland, and sweaty Freddie Garcia pitched complete games back-to-back. A feat that will never be doubled, at least in our lifetimes. Even though not every team can be as good as that starting pitching, it's starting pitching that keeps championship teams consistent. And starting pitching travels so that your road record is around 500. And then you beat teams up at home. The current White Sox are 21st in starting pitching in Major League Baseball with a robust 4.43 ERA, and the arrow is unfortunately not pointing down. Their starters only average 4.3 innings a game, which will eventually overtax this bullpen, which is sneaky good this year. And the White Sox are 15 and 24 in away games. I said around this time of the year, I would give my prediction on the 2026 White Sox. This team is fun to watch, always interesting, with a record tying 12 players making their MLB debuts. They're hard not to like, and they are the surprise team in baseball. Even though I can only remember one year I had more fun cheering for the White Sox. It's very hard for me to buy this year. Hagen Smith, Tanner McDougal, and Drew Thorpe are the only hopes for improvement to this rotation, and they are all hurt. If you replace innings with alcohol and starting pitching with money, the 2026 Sox are kind of like my bank account in 2005. There are too many innings, too many drinks, and too few starting pitchers. Not enough money in my checking account. The Cleveland Indians, on the other hand, starting pitching. Cleveland Indians starting pitching. ERA is 3.79, over a half run lower, and rank in the top 10 in all of baseball. It pains me to say it, but I do not have the White Sox winning the AL Central this year, and I'm holding out hope that they can squeak into the playoffs as a wild card team in a below average American League. And that's Fitz gibberish, folks. Combs.
I wrote
that on Thursday after the grand slam by Benintendi that won the game in Yankees. So I didn't write it. I don't think these two games really say much. It's been a hard fought series against Detroit. It hasn't really been. They're losing way too many games by a lot of runs where they're not even competitive, and that's bad starting pitching, man.
Okay,
13 players.
Johnny chimed in and said, "Land against best bar on the South Side. Glad I was there with you, right, to watch that incredible game."
Yeah. Awesome. Jermaine Dye, RBI, one of John's favorite players.
Jeremiah Cartoon said there are 13 players that have made their major league debut.
I forgot Junior Perez, who hit a home run the other night against Tarek Skubal. He hit his first home run. It's pretty fucking good.
Here's my thing with the Sox, right? Like, they just went 5-3 in games against the Yankees, Dodgers, and Braves.
Yep.
And so I look at this team, a game out of first place against Cleveland. They've got a big series starting this week against Cleveland. And I mean, Comiskey's going to be rocking. And yes, I call it Comiskey the same way you call them the Indians. It's never going to change.
I had Guardians in there too, and I just said Indians.
A big series against the Guardians starting tomorrow. Look, the series against Detroit was big, but it was also big for Detroit, and they came out hungry. And they had Tarek Skubal starting on Friday. When the Sox got to Skubal, I was like, man, they might sweep the series.
Yeah.
And then the bullpen happened, and look, those types of things are going to happen. You're going to run into these stretches the same way you run into those 5-3 stretches against teams like the Dodgers, the Yankees, and the Braves, three of the best teams in baseball.
All division leaders.
Yeah. And so I think this team's good enough. I really do. I think this team is good enough to find sustained success. I do think that they're going to add at the deadline. I do think that they'll spend money at the deadline. I really do. I know a lot of Sox fans don't believe that. I know, a lot of Sox fans. I think this is Ishbia's team now. I really do. And I think it's been Ishbia's team probably since last year. And you look at some of the changes that they've made, some of the changes that they can make, some of the things that they're probably willing to do. And it's almost like you've got a team now that is is making all the right decisions. They're calling up the right players. The players that are coming up are performing, and they've got pieces that are tradable. And I think that, when you talk about maybe adding an Aroldis Chapman, maybe adding a guy like, they probably don't add a guy like Tarek Skubal just because of what he's going to command on the open market. But I could absolutely see them going and getting a guy like Sandy Alcantara, a guy with some controllable years still left on his contract. I could absolutely see them making a trade for, a pitcher like that just still has some time left on his contract and can still help this team win and still improve this rotation. I really do. I don't think that Eric Fetty is starting games after the trade deadline for the White Sox. I don't think that the White Sox are going to have the same bullpen problems because I do think that they're going to add. I think they're going to find consistent pitching. And with this lineup and the way that they've played, sure, have some of them played above board, which is Jed Hoyer's delight, and we'll get to him in a minute. Yeah, sure, some of them played above board, but at the same time, like you watch Andrew Benintendi, who in the month of June has just absolutely been killing it after having looking like maybe the worst contract in White Sox history and also the highest paid contract in White Sox history.
Adam Dunn is the worst contract in White Sox history.
Well, Andrew Benintendi was pretty damn close, but now he looks like he's enjoying baseball again.
True.
Like, I think not enough people take that into account of what this White Sox team was, and when Andrew Benintendi came to it, he might have just been playing. You talk about playing down to the competition. He might have been playing down to the talent level of the team. And now this team's
possible.
good. He's playing well, and not only that, but you've got guys in front of him that are hitting. So now that's going to help him see better pitches as well. He's not the only guy in the lineup that can do damage, and that changes things for a player too. So I think that this White Sox team is sustainable, and I don't think that the Sox fans, I don't think that they have to necessarily be concerned about this team at any point. I think that this team is going to show that they are very good, and I think that they're going to be a playoff team. Whether or not they win the division is a different story, but I think it's between them and Cleveland, and I don't think that any stretch of losses that the White Sox are going to endure, I don't think Cleveland's good enough to run away from them, and I don't think the rest of the American League in the wild card race is good enough to catch up to them.
Those are all good points. I just don't know where the innings are coming from. My only worry about them trading at the deadline. I always thought they would go with Grant Taylor, but I think Grant Taylor's Jeremiah says Newcomb, the lefty out of the Sox bullpen, could be stretched out and be a starting pitcher. Yeah, that's possible, but I always thought with Noah Schultz coming back, he'd be their lefty starter, and I thought they would do it with Grant Taylor, but I think he's just too important on the bullpen. I just think for a trade, I just don't think any guys are coming in trade. And I'll say why. I don't think it's because they're cheap, and I do agree with you. I think this is becoming more Ishbia's team every day, especially when he bought all that land, or he's in the process of purchasing the land, but it looks like it's going to be purchased. My problem is I don't think they know who they have yet to trade. I don't think you can trade a Jacob Gonzalez and a Braden Montgomery yet, but it looks like those guys might go back to the minors because they're not really hitting right now. After coming up scorching, they seem to have tailed back, which is tough for those two guys because those are the two guys that you want to come up and never go down again. But it happens in baseball. Baseball's super hard, but I don't know. You don't know what you have there to trade away. I just don't think they know exactly what they have yet. And does any team really with their with the players in their farm system? No, but I would like to know a little bit more about these players before they're traded away. And I think you know a little bit more next trade deadline. I just don't think they know enough right now.
No, here's the thing. I've said this for a long time. Your prospects are there for trading. Like you would trade some of these prospects for relevant major league pitching that has been proven, for something that can help you. You would trade one of your pitching prospects for a guy like Aroldis Chapman this year. If you think that you are a closer away, you would trade him for Aroldis Chapman. I mean, a la the Cubs in 2016, right? Or maybe you're right. Maybe the front office thinks that this team is a team that is more like the 2015 Cubs, or more like the Nationals in 2018, right? Maybe they don't think that right now is the time to make a move. Maybe they think, hey, let's just see how far these young kids can take us, and let's see where we go with it. And then in the offseason, we'll make a decision. When we don't have any baseball next year in 2027, we'll make a decision for 2028. Like, maybe that's what they do. But if I'm the White Sox, man, I've got to look at this seriously and look at how wide open the American League is. I mean, your young kids just proved how wide open it is.
Do you think a player or two wins them a championship? If a player or two doesn't win me a championship, I don't think it does. I don't think you can get a good enough starting pitcher with what they have to win a championship. If they just want to make the playoffs, maybe that's something else. But I don't think it wins you a championship yet. I think a year from now, you have a more complete team. You know what you have, and it wins you a championship. Jeremiah says, I don't want a rental player. Well, a player for the future is going to cost a lot more. Hagen Smith with that motion is just asking for a career injury. That's what I said about Chris Sale. I was at the game, not this past Wednesday, but the Wednesday before when Chris Sale went against Davis Martin. Terrific game. Sox won 2-1. Chris Sale was pitching 98 miles an hour in that game. And there's nobody who has a motion that is asking for a career injury more than Chris Sale.
Yeah.
But that being said, Hagen Smith might be a guy. He's less exposed than Noah Schultz is now. Noah Schultz has been in the major leagues, and I think they're a bit higher on Noah Schultz because he throws more strikes. So maybe they keep Noah Schultz and they do deal Hagen Smith because they're both left-handed, large men who are left-handed, who are not fathers, but they're large men and they're left-handed. So maybe a little redundancy there. Yeah. It's just the thing that hurts them is that Tanner McDougal, who has arguably had better numbers. It's hard not to argue that he had better numbers than Hagen Smith and Noah Schultz in the minors. He got hurt. And then Drew Thorpe's supposed to already be back. He's supposed to be back mid-May. And he's coming back from Tommy John. Yeah, but we've seen guys come back from Tommy John and at least be serviceable. He had I don't know if he got hurt, but his rehab hasn't been going as well as they thought. It looks like he's probably not even going to play this year, which is crazy because he's supposed to be at least your number 2 pitcher of the future. At least he was the keystone of the trade of Dylan Cease, which looks like one of the worst trades that the White Sox have ever had, backed up by one of the best with Garrett Crochet. But
here's the problem with not wanting, like Jeremiah said, not wanting a rental player is that what the White Sox are going to be willing to do, right, as far as cost wise for a pitcher, because if you go anything more than 2 years of control, you're really looking at a price tag that is significant, right? So you're looking in like the Seth Lugo, Joe Ryan, which is funny because both of those guys are within the division. You're looking at pitchers like that, and as opposed to a rental in Sandy Alcantara or even Tarek Skubal, you're looking at guys like that, and when you're looking at guys like that, both of those guys are out of their contract by the end of 2027, and technically that's a rental, right? Because if there's no games next year, they're not pitching for you, so technically that's a rental. But I mean, if I'm the White Sox, I don't see any, especially in this American League, and especially with baseball the way it is right now. I just think that they are good enough. I think the lineup is good enough. And if you tell me that your rotation heading into the playoffs is Davis Martin, Seth Lugo, Noah Schultz, as your 1, 2, 3, and Sean Burke lurking at the 4, I'm excited about that as a White Sox fan. And I think you've got as good of a chance as anybody to go out there. I think your rotation at that point is as good as the Yankees. I think it's as good as anybody else in the American League. You want to talk about the Tampa Bay Rays, you want to talk about, maybe not as good as Seattle's, because Seattle's pitching staff is probably the most godlike pitching staff I've ever seen, which is crazy to me that they don't win more. that pitching staff is good enough to compete, and this lineup is good enough to compete with anybody in the American League, and you can find yourself sitting in the ALCS or World Series. Now, look, the National League is a different breed, I think, this year. It's going to be tough to beat the Dodgers. It's going to be tough to beat the Phillies. It's going to be tough, I'm going to throw up in my mouth when I say it. It's going to be tough to beat a Brewers team that is just
That Braves team is good.
Yeah. So I think that you're going to find yourself in a spot where if you don't make any moves, then you're just trying to see what you have. And to me, as a White Sox fan, I'm more disappointed if that happens than I am if they don't add. Because yes, coming into the season, is this season already a success? Absolutely. This season for the White Sox is already a success. But now you're in the moment. So now, yes, it's a success, but you don't just stop here just because you got here. You keep trying to win, and you keep trying to do more, and you see what else you can do. And if you're telling me that the price of Aroldis Chapman is a AA prospect or a AAA prospect, I'm giving it up. And if you tell me that I can go out and I can get Joe Ryan and pluck him out of the Minnesota Twins, or I can go get Seth Lugo from the Kansas City Royals, sign me up. Sign me up. I'm not giving up. Look, obviously, you're not giving up any of your top prospects, right? Braden Montgomery is a non-touchable. Like, your big prospects are non-touchables. But your guys in AA and AAA, package them up. Because you're not going to get very many of these opportunities. We've seen it too many times in baseball where stuff like this happens one year and it doesn't happen the next.
Yeah, true. You have injuries, which we've had this year.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Jeremiah take another at bat. I don't want to see another at bat from the catcher position. Yeah, Caro has had some pretty decent at bats he's put together. He's had some bad luck. He's hit it right at people, but he's not giving a lot of competitive at bats either. Jeremiah, that catcher position has lost them at least 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, Teal's on a rehab assignment, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, Teal hit a home run his first game. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. Can't he give you a better? I know you don't want to ruin his confidence or whatever you don't want to do, but isn't he going to give you a better at bat than any at bats you're getting in the catcher position right now?
I don't think it's about ruining his confidence. I think it's about making sure that he rehabs without having another setback. And that's why
hurt himself
back in mid-April, and now here we are in mid-June.
He hurt himself in his last rehab in the minors.
Mm-hmm. But you've got to make sure that he can play every day, though. If you're going to bring him up,
there's no news on Murakami either. Which,
no, I mean it's still the same, right? Like it started out at 4 to 6 weeks, and I think
it's the same. But I'd like to hear that he's doing baseball activities and that he's going to start a rehab assignment, or they're just going to bring him back. I don't know if they would.
My guess is after the All-Star game. It would be my guess with Murakami. You're going to get him back after the All-Star game, which is only, 3 weeks away. That would be my guess. Because why not be careful with him at this point? You're not falling out of the race. You've been playing good ball without him. I mean, there's no need to rush these guys back. I get what you guys are saying. Like, when you're watching, I mean, you guys sound like me with talking about Drew Romo. You sound like me talking about half of the damn Cubs lineup right now.
Let's shift to the Cubs, shall we?
We don't have to. But yeah, with the White Sox, I mean, you're talking about, these players that are going to come back and they're going to provide some relief, but there's no need to rush them because you still got guys in this lineup that are playing good ball. You still got pitchers that are pitching well. Like, there's no need to do anything just yet. And then come the deadline, you make your move. I really do believe that you make your move.
I also don't want to see Luis Angel Hair Pasta Acuna either, Jeremiah. Like
he got a hit off Tarek Skubal the other day.
He did. Okay.
And Tarek Skubal was never more angry about something in his life.
Yeah, he thought they were tipping pitches. Yeah, we're tipping pitches, Tarek Skubal. You also walk 3 guys. Like, dude, no one's tipping pitches. They're getting base hits like through the infield, buddy. No one's like
will kill you.
Yeah, walks will kill you. Little hits will kill you. Got a little unlucky. Guys had a good at bats against you. Like, there's nothing crazy happening there.
I watched a game yesterday with the Chicago Dogs where they had out-hit their opponents 17-9, and they were losing at that point 13-9. Like, because of walks. Walks were just killing them. And I mean, they ended up coming back and winning last night, but it was one of those like, man, 17-9 and you're down by 4 and you've given up 13 runs. That's not good.
No.
Like, that's not good. So yeah, I think that, when you get pitchers that are saying, oh, you're tipping your pitches, or oh, you're doing this, or you're doing that, like if they found something to gain a competitive advantage, like stealing your signs or finding that you're tipping pitches, it's your job to change that, not theirs. Period. I don't care whether the unwritten rules of baseball. Take the unwritten rules and shove them up your ass.
Yeah, what the Astros were doing was a little different, because they were actually going on a camera and then telling the hitter by hitting a garbage can. And then later they think they were doing something electronic, which is almost certainly they were.
Well, yeah, the buzzer on the chest of Jose Altuve, who hit a home run yesterday, and that was the first thing I thought of.
He didn't want to take his shirt off because his wife would have been weird about it.
Yeah, right.
He's telling him not to take his shirt off as he's jumping. Yeah, that was just such a weird thing that none of the players were. MLB is such. Oh my god!
Like a lucha libre who can't take off his mask, right? Like, just don't take my shirt off, guys.
Mike Vassal's response to Tarek Skubal: "I'm just a guy." Acuna did drop. Yeah, he dropped a fly ball too. Yeah. I mean, that whole experiment is done for now. Let him go back to the minors, see if he can figure something out.
Yeah, man. And look, on the other side of town, it's something. It's a team without identity. It's a team at this point without heart right now, to consistently win, to find ways to win the tough games, to find ways to, it's in some days it's not the offense, and some days it's the pitching, like yesterday. I mean, you had a 5-0 lead in the 6th inning, and you lost 8-6.
I watched most of that game.
The day after you beat a team 16-2 and just basically break their will, and then you're up again 5-0, like, to allow that team to come back. Look, the Blue Jays do have a good lineup. I'll give you that, but it's getting to a point where you watch this team and you watch this lineup and you watch what they're doing and you watch the at-bats that they're taking. Alex Bregman, I mean, I don't know. Nico Horner looks like he's lost right now. He needs to sit for a couple of days. I would love to have a weekend, or even a series. It doesn't even have to be a weekend, but a series where my infield looks like it's Pedro Ramirez at second and Matt Shaw at short, or vice versa. You put Matt Shaw at second and Pedro Ramirez at short.
Really?
And because Nico and Dansby need to have some time off.
I don't know if I want Matt Shaw at short, but
they need to have some time off. You know what I mean? Like, they need to sit. They need to get their head straight, because you're watching these at bats, and I don't know what idiot in the Cubs organization saw what Nico Horner was doing in April and was like, "Yeah, you know what? You're having the greatest offensive run of your career. We'd like you to pull the ball more." Like, that person needs to be fired on the spot. Once that story came out from Ron Coomer this week on 670, like, whoever made that decision in the Cubs organization should be fired right now, and I don't care who it is. Like, I don't care if it was Jed Hoyer who told him. I don't care if it was Craig Counsell who told him. I don't care who it was. Whoever it was needs to be fired from your organization, because you're going to take a guy whose strength is hitting the ball to the opposite field and finding gaps, and who was just hitting out of his mind, and say, "We'd like you to pull the ball more." That is the dumbest damn thing I've ever heard of in my entire life.
They want more slug.
And you should
that whole infrastructure. And it's even going back to Theo with Jed Hoyer wants slug. They're addicted to slug. They don't have a lot of guys who, number one, the number one thing they do is slug. Like they
Yeah.
don't have a Pete Alonso. They don't have a Murakami. They don't have these guys. They don't have a Colson Montgomery, who's basically mostly slug. He's already got
Well,
20
they
home
relied on
runs.
Alex Bregman to be that, and if you looked at his splits in the second half of last year, I don't know why you expected him to be that.
I would never think he would be the same guy that I mean, Alex Bregman did have some good home run years, but did he hit a lot of 40 and 50? I mean, he's not getting close to 40 home runs, I don't think, this year. I don't think you could have penned him in for that, on the wrong side of 30.
I don't think you could have ever pegged Bregman in for 40 home runs. Could you? Did he ever hit 40?
I don't think he did, but I mean, he
He did hit
years.
40 one year in Houston. But after that year of 40, so this is Bregman's home run total since 2019 when he hit 41. 6, 12, 23, 25, 26, 18, and 6.
Yeah, you're thinking you're hoping for 30. You're not getting 40, or you're
He
not
hit
even getting
18
close
in
to
that short porch in Boston last year. Like, well, what were you thinking? Why did you think he was going to come out and give you 30 or 40 home runs? Like, that again goes to talk to the disorganization of this team internally in the front office. Like,
Yeah,
this front office is clueless. I don't understand why Jed Hoyer still has a job. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then he's going to come out and he's going to talk, oh, well, we've got to play better. Well, Jed, maybe you've got to get better players. Maybe you've got to be
some of the players,
about the guys that you're signing to long-term contracts for large dollar amounts. This is a Jed Hoyer problem. All these Cubs fans out here talking about we need to fire Craig Counsell. Look, I hate Craig Counsell after Friday because I was one Ian Happ home run away from hitting a large payout on a bet.
Oh wow!
when they brought in Straw to pitch, their left fielder to pitch, and Ian Happ was coming up to the plate, and Craig Counsell thought that was the great time that he should finally pinch hit for Ian Happ. I wanted to kill him. But this problem that we have this year on this Cubs team is not a Craig problem. This is a Jed problem. Craig is doing the best he can with what he has.
And I agree. When we talk about community builders, or we talk about building an organization that you have to do this year, or in this time in sports, you just have to do that. It's not one guy anymore, or two guys, or three guys. You have to have an entire organization, and they're not developing players, man.
Right.
And they're not bringing guys here and making them better. They're making them worse. They are. Their whole staff needs to be fired. Jeremiah says there's obviously something wrong for the last couple of years. We can go back to the David Ross era, where they almost win the division, and then they end up going 83 and 79 2 years in a row, and then David Ross is gone, and it's his fault somehow. And I just don't think it's ever been that. I think they've always been a mediocre team, except for the first half of last season. And I don't think for the players they have, they should be that. I don't think anybody thinks that. Starting rotation is mediocre, but other than that, I think they got some good pieces here.
You've got 11 pitchers on the IL. 11. That's going to be hard to find success no matter what team you are. But this team, this organization, I mean, it's been a Jed problem. The reason why you had 283 and 79 teams is because Jed thinks he's the GM of the Tampa Bay Rays. He wants to try to build, and that's the other problem that I have.
They
if
look
you
super
want to be
smart.
The Tampa Bay Rays, then be the Tampa Bay Rays. But what you need to do with being the Tampa Bay Rays is you actually have to develop talent in the minor leagues. That's the one thing you don't do like the Rays. You spend like the Rays. You put out contracts like the Rays, but you don't go out and develop talent like the Tampa Bay Rays. That's the problem. And I joke, they don't spend
or the
like
Diamondbacks.
They've spent the 8th most money in baseball, and we talk ad nauseum about how spending doesn't equal wins. The reason why the Dodgers are so damn good, yes, they spend all the money, but they also develop talent.
Yes,
they've
they
also
do.
got a top 5 farm system,
Almost
and they
every year
build their roster the correct way. And Jed Hoyer is just not that. Jed Hoyer is the problem in Chicago, and Jed Hoyer needs to go. And until Jed Hoyer is gone, this is what the Cubs are going to be.
Yeah, I mean, there's we talk about this a lot. We've yelled about it with the Bears. We've yelled about the White Sox, who still do have this problem. I mean, it's been an excellent. It's one of the best turnarounds I've ever seen in baseball. But still, they have a problem with innovation too. The Sox have a problem with innovation, with innovating and being on the edge of what's going to happen in the coming years in baseball.
Would you
Now the
argue that they're
Cubs,
starting to turn the page on that though?
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they are obviously a little bit, especially in the player development side, which, kudos to Josh Barfield. Kudos to their pitching side. I mean, to everything they've done. I mean, I think now I need to see more, but I think, yes, they have. I haven't seen how they're ahead of the time, are the times in baseball right now. Maybe we learn more about that as this team develops, but there's something going on. There's something in the mix here that's making the Sox this much better this quickly. But
Whoever's
the
in
Cubs
charge of
used to be
scouting.
that team. The Cubs used to be that team that was
Yeah.
on the edge. That was that could develop players, that could pick out the players that were going to be better. They had testing systems for players where they would sit down and actually take tests, and they would know a little bit more about their personality. They were the first teams to be looking at spin rate. They took Jake Arrieta, who was always, and I watched him pitch a lot on the Orioles, was always uber talented, and they turned him into a Cy Young winner. We had one of the best years as a pitcher in history. They were the one that was on swing plane, even though they sort of stole it from the A's. They were the one that were seeing a lot of pitches and doing all that stuff. And heck, that's what you do in this world. You steal.
Yeah.
I mean, you steal. You look at, know what a good idea is, and you steal it before anybody else knows it's a good idea. That's kind of what you do. You make your own ideas, yes, but you steal a lot of ideas, and that's what they were doing, and it was really working. I don't see them doing that right now. I just don't see them doing that right now. I don't see, point to a player that they brought in that's better. Point to a pitcher that's much better. Maybe Boyd.
Yeah.
Maybe Boyd, but Boyd's 35, 36. Boyd isn't 27 years old like Jake Arrieta was, or whatever. I think Jake Arrieta was around that age when they got him. Like, he's not a reclamation project. He's a guy that's kind of doing his own thing, probably in his mid to late 30s. I just don't see a lot of that happening. I don't.
I think the difference between the Cubs and the Sox is whoever's doing the scouting for both teams, right? Like, look, the PCA trade ended up being a steal for the Cubs, and you developed PCA in your minor leagues before you brought him up, and he is who he is now. But I think PCA was just always that talented. No matter what team he was on, he was going to be this successful. But you're right. Like, you can't look at anybody who they've brought up. I mean, Nico Horner, Ian Happ are both homegrown players, but everybody else is a player that they've brought in via trade or whatever. Seiya Suzuki came from the Japan as a pro, but even that, like, let's take that into account. I mean, the White Sox in scouting Murakami versus the Cubs and what they've done with their scouting. Like, the White Sox got ahead of Murakami. While everybody else was saying, I don't know if this guy's worth the money, the White Sox said, yeah, I think he is. And they came in and they brought him in. And the guy who has been out for over a month now is still only, 6 home runs off the lead of being the home run leader in Major League Baseball. Like, this guy has been phenomenal, and he plays a pretty damn good first base. So for what the Cubs are doing in their front office, I think the whole front office needs to go. I don't think it's just Jed. I think Carter Hawkins needs to go too. I think he's part of the problem. I think that everybody in the front office, you need a clean slate. And then if that new GM, that new front office decides they need to bring in somebody other than Craig Counsell, then so be it. It is what it is, but they need new leadership. And Jed Hoyer has not done anything since Theo Epstein left. And when he stepped out of the shadow of Theo Epstein, Jed Hoyer has not been everything that you're supposed to be after learning from one of the greatest general managers that baseball has ever seen.
Yeah, you have the Cubs, and this is just the thing with them, where you have a lot of guys with slow bats and a lot of pitchers with slow arms. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't see where. I don't see how that's a philosophy.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't. Especially in this league. I'm sorry, you have to have spat speed. That's why a lot of these guys are They trade bat speed for high contact rates. I mean, which I like in some. I like to have that mix, but I don't want all my batters to be that way. It's
Jeremiah,
just
Cutter Hawkins has the plan for 2033.
yeah, it's coming around the bend.
Jeremiah, Nico standing farther away from the plate also coincides with him getting hit in it. That's just a coincidence. Him standing farther away from the plate is because they want him to pull the ball more. That's why he's standing further away from the plate so he can get around the ball more. It's stupid. Whoever's plan this was, I'm telling you, should be like fire him into the sun, not just fired. Fire his ass into the sun because he's a moron.
It sounds like a plan when they used to try to change a guy's swing plane, try to give him more of an uppercut swing 10 years ago, and the guy just didn't have the hand speed to do it. It's like keep him being a contact hitter. Like Chase Mydroth does something where he gives himself one strike to try to get a home run. Usually, that's the way he plays. But he's a contact hitter. He doesn't have fast hands. He's not as strong as like a Braden Montgomery. He's not doing that kind of stuff. He did have an opposite field home run, but it was his first one ever. And he's played almost a full year of baseball. Actually, full year and a half of baseball now. But that's what he does, but he's not trying on every pitch to do that. I mean, maybe that's how you tail it back with Nico. Hey, give him a strike, maybe even two, depending on what situation you are in the game, but let's not try to pull the ball every time. I mean, that really spins wheels for batters. I'm surprised that they went through with that. I just don't know where the decision making is starting and ending with the Cubs right now. I just don't know what that whole decision process is, because it doesn't seem like you said, it's really not a team, doesn't have an identity. I mean, unless slow bats and slow pitching is an identity, which it's not in this league.
And they're all performing so poorly that you can't even have a leader in that clubhouse. Who's the voice in that clubhouse right now? If you're telling me it's Alex Bregman, I'm looking at Alex Bregman and being like, okay, dude, what are you doing, Mr. $180 million? What are you doing? Like, it can't be Dansby Swanson, because, I mean, gee, you're not even hitting your weight. like what are we talking? Like, this team has just been so poor at the little things, man. Like, they're not stealing, they're not bunting, they're not playing small ball, they're not doing all of the things that you need to do to break out of a slump, because you're not a home run hitting team. You leave the home runs to Seiya Suzuki, who's going to hit you 25 to 30 a year, and you get happy with your 15 to 20 from PCA, your 15 to 20 from Alex Bregman, and you score a bunch of runs by hitting gaps. This is not a home run hitting team. This is a team that is going to do better by hitting gaps and spraying the ball around the field. That's what this entire team consists of. A bunch of guys that can do that. And instead, they're trying to pull the ball and hit home runs and hit for a higher slugging. Like, why? That's not what you have. You have to know your organization. You have to know what you have in the room before you decide, oh, we're going to try to do a bunch of things that you guys aren't good at. And let's try to win that way.
It's kind of like having the worst pass rushing defense in the NFL and not drafting one defensive player in the first 3 or 4 rounds of a draft. It seems a little bit similar. I know it's 2 separate sports, but it's a little like that. It's a little like having the worst pass rushing defense for 4 years in a row. And you don't tell me they were 28th in the league a couple of years ago.
Can you just let me be pissed off about the Cubs sucking before I have to worry about the Bears sucking the life out of me, please? Can you allow that? Like, I talked about the Bears this week on BetMGM tonight, and offensively, I think this team's going to be a top 5 offense. Defensively is going to be a problem. My fear is that they're going to be the Dallas Cowboys from last year, who lose a lot of games 42 to 37.
Yeah, that could be a problem.
Like people are all, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott can't win. Dak Prescott threw for 4,600 yards last year with 30 touchdowns and 10 interceptions. Dak Prescott is just fine. It's your defense that can't hold the lead.
Exactly.
What's
Say
going
hello
on?
to Uncle Brandy. Uncle Brandon.
Hi.
Hi, dude. What are you doing?
Hi. You want to get these on and say hello?
What's up,
Hi.
dude? How are you?
Good.
You taking your dad out for lunch for Father's Day?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What are you gonna get him? What are you gonna make him eat? You should make him eat mac and cheese at the Mexican restaurant. Order him mac and cheese and chicken nuggets. You want to get him mac and cheese and chicken nuggets and make him eat that, and while you eat tacos?
How do you like his hat? What do you want to say? Say down with the cops.
What?
No, you don't have to say it. All right, say Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.
Thank you, buddy.
He was running around a lot, so
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's so we got, look, the Bears, we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about the Bears. And one thing I do want to say about the Bears, and watching what I've seen with some of the OTAs and some of the videos and some of the things that I'm seeing, is I like what I'm seeing from the offense. I like what I'm seeing from Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams does look like he's finally learned how to read a defense. He's checking down a lot more in OTAs. He's got a couple of plays when he goes to the line of scrimmage, and that's part of what Ben Johnson's plan was, is to send him to the line with 3 or 4 plays and let, hey, you figure it out, which play is the right call here. And I love what they're doing, and I think that the growth you're going to see from Caleb Williams this year is going to be exponential. And as long as he stays healthy, I think this Bears team is offensively is going to be good, and they need to find a pass rusher, and they need to find a pass rusher quick.
yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, I just think that offense. Yeah, I mean, they keep like sending out these marketing videos where, oh, look at this other tight end, it's gonna be great. They're gonna go
Sam
into
Roush.
13 personnel. It's like, oh yeah, and they're gonna do all this stuff, and it's like, yeah. Well, I know.
Caleb said that on a podcast.
And I'm
too,
all
though.
about offense. I'm yelling and screaming about for years on this podcast that I want the offense to be in top 5. But you can't have a 28th ranked defense.
Yeah.
You can't. Your team will may make the playoffs. A team like that can make the playoffs. A number 1 defense with a 28th ranked offense is probably not making but you can make the playoffs.
Did you see the Kelsey podcast where Caleb Williams talked about Sam Roush?
Yes.
And they asked him, and they were like, "Oh, you got 2 studs, 2 huge studs at tight end." He's like, "I've got a third guy now too." And so, like, Sam Roush might be a guy. Great, 13 personnel, great. Again, I'm with you, man. How are we going to stop the points? How are we going to stop?
You're not going to win anything beyond you're not going to win anything beyond what you did last year. And maybe you're just a wild card team. Which is a problem for me. That means you're not improving. You're
hinging on the fact that Caleb's going to be able to save you in the fourth quarter. As you know, telling the defense and the offense, hey, just keep us within 1 score.
Yeah, can he make the best sports play I've ever seen again?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's just like that's asking kind of a lot. Like, can you make the best play I probably ever seen in my life on a sports field?
That's the Jed Hoyer. We need to outperform the back of the baseball card.
Exactly. Yeah. Even more. It just seems similar, and we eat it up as Chicago fans, and they're just marketing to us. Oh, the offense is going to be great. Yeah, the offense was pretty great last year.
Yeah.
It should improve with second year in an offense, even if they had the same players they had last year.
Yeah,
it should improve. So it should be better. It was a top 10 offense. It should be close to a top 5 offense this year. Okay, I get it. Like, I thought there'd be improvements on defense, and they're like, "Oh, this safety though." Yeah, does he play defensive line? Like, I don't.
I don't.
Jalen Johnson's gonna have to be healthy.
Yeah. I mean, look, you look at this defense, the secondary it's going to be interesting to see what they are, because he's right. Jalen Johnson needs to be healthy, needs to be an all-pro level again. Stevenson, Muhammad both have to step up. I like you know how I feel about Tyreek Stevenson. I think the kid is very good. And Dylan Thieneman being in the secondary now, I like him because he's an all-around player. He's a guy who can step up. He's a guy who can play deep. He's a guy who can play against the run. I do like that about him. You still can't rush the quarterback with a safety. You just can't.
It's like getting bacon on your donut.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really need the bacon. It's already a donut. I don't need the bacon. You already had a pretty good, pretty talented. I mean, couple, maybe a Pro Bowler or two, secondary. You did have 2 Pro Bowlers if you include Gordon.
Yeah.
I mean, you had an okay secondary. I don't think you needed a safety is this guy going to be a top 5 safety? Answer the question. If he's not, I'm sorry, wasn't worth it at that point.
He needs to be for where he was taken in the draft. He needs to be. I mean, he's got to be a guy.
Gordon's hurt again. I've heard that.
Soft tissue for Kyler Gordon.
Your guy.
He's not even a Bear though, right?
Kyler Gordon's a Bear.
Is he
still
still
under contract?
He was one of the guys that didn't re-sign for some reason.
Kyler Gordon's still a Bear, and Ben Johnson still doesn't know who he is.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Ben Johnson says he doesn't know what he looks like, or what was he saying?
Yeah, something to that effect of, I don't know what he looks like. I don't know who he is.
Has he been there, Combs?
To that effect. Has who?
Shouldn't you be scouring the internet to see how good the Bears defense is when Kyler Gordon is around?
I mean, they're a top 5 defense when Kyler Gordon's in.
Oh my God.
I mean, that team last year, just the difference in efficiency and run stopping efficiency was through the roof. I mean, they went from like 24th to like 8th or something like that. It was crazy.
Ben Johnson, we can't build trust with Kyler Gordon if he isn't available. Well, that's what John Madden would say, Ben. That's what John Madden would say. If the guy is not on the field,
Ben Johnson, though, that's kind of Ben Johnson's way of saying, "Hey, look, Kyler, it's time for you to step up, or somebody else is going to take your spot." And so I like that from Ben Johnson, honestly. But all right, man. Well, let's go enjoy our Father's Day. I know you're going to go spend some time with your son,
Daddy.
I'm going to go work.
Real life superhero over here.
I would like to spend time with my daughter, but she has parties to go to, and she does not want to hang out with me. So I'm gonna go to work.
Your chopped liver.
That's what I do. All right, brother. It was good. It was always fun. Till next time. Not same bat time, because next time we'll be at our regular time.
Yeah.
The same bat channel. You should still tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies. Talk to you guys later.